Greetings, my friends. Continuing the book, Protectors of the Nations by Captain Clare. Chapter 3. A few weeks later. Sitting by the cave of Adullam. Jashobeam, Eleazar, and Shammah were sitting quietly with David one evening, as was their custom. They had a relationship that was well understood between them and was comfortable without many words. Jashobeam quietly said, "I heard you picked up Goliath's sword." David looked up a bit surprised and replied, "Yes, that was part of the problem that destroyed Nob." "I heard about Nob, but had no intention of bringing it up. A difficult subject," Jashobeam said. "I was thinking about Goliath's sword. I sure would like to see it." "You haven't heard?" David questioned. "I returned it," he said with a sheepish smile. This strange piece of information got everyone's attention. Turning and looking directly at David, the three waited patiently without a word, expecting the rest of the story. "I was looking for a place to get a good night's sleep and a proper meal, and ended up in Gath." Shammah straightened up and looked at David with cocked head and raised eyebrow and said, stopping short, "Why did—" And he started again, "Where were you?" Again he paused, searching for words, and then he said, "When did you consider—" He didn't seem to be able to get a proper question together and could by no means understand the complexity of David's reasoning. So shaking his head, he just said, "Gath. You went to Gath?" David assured them, "Fear will cause the death of the most valiant of men if you allow it into your thinking. It was intense fear of King Saul taking my life that prompted me to lie to the priests of the Lord. I would never do that in my right mind. This same fear," he explained, "led me to Gath for rest and a good meal, and completely blinded me to the extreme danger of entering Goliath's hometown with his sword on my back. If I learned nothing more from my flight of fright, it is that fear kills. Never allow it into your thinking." David went on to explain to the ever-growing group of men that were gathering a few of the high points of his destination, Gath. A pronounced leadership quality in David was becoming more and more apparent to his followers. He never attempted to hide his failures behind his great accomplishments, but would focus his stories on invaluable life lessons, humbly referencing both his mistakes and his achievements. This discussion was a perfect example as he spoke of running in fear, losing a national treasure, and acting like a madman to save his own life, without any concern of what the men might think of him now. Concluding his story of the events in Gath that day, he said, "Fear is not your friend. Even a little bit of fear is not okay." The entire group of men learned a priceless lesson that evening on the subject of fear. But Jashobeam, Eleazar, and Shammah took it to heart. Note, but as with all mighty men, it didn't happen in one day. It was a process. This concludes Chapter 3. Thank you.